Good morning, Helen. How are you? You
Hi,
want me to
how are you?
fill you in? How's it going?
Good, very good.
Good. Your
I
your
have
daughter your daughter must be making you really proud. She's rocking it.
she is. She's got her second module today of the REO certification.
Oh,
So,
good. Yeah, yeah. Get
yeah,
her through those. And then we're actually putting together some other trainings. Larry and I, we just haven't really had time to focus on them, but we're going to be, tapping into all of our agents to help with that. So something we want to do. So, Eloise, how are
nice.
you today? Lindsay, Angela, how are you guys doing?
Doing great, thank you.
Okay, good. So today will be, hopefully interactive. So we'll just, ask you guys some questions, where you want to be, how things are going. Larry normally jumps on these calls, so I'll see if he jumps in, but if not, we'll just run things the best way we can. Any you guys have any successes over the last month or so? It's been a little while since we've met, but any successes with talking to agents, talking about our group, what we do, our philosophy, our goals, our mission statement, our production, any of those things?
I have spoken to one agent and I sent Larry her information yesterday. She's really miserable over at another brokerage. She doesn't feel supported. And I told her, that that's completely the opposite when you're part of our group, that you're completely supported. The education is there. You can call your fellow agents and ask for advice, and everybody's always willing to help. As am I willing to help if I can do anything for anybody too. And she
Sure.
just was just so sad. And it broke my heart for her. And I know I missed the meeting last week on Friday because I was talking to her on the phone and I just couldn't bear to hang up on her. She just seems so sad and she just really needs a bit of an injection and someone to believe in her and hold
Yeah.
her
And
up,
how far away are you from her? Are you close by or?
Yeah, she's not far. She works in Lewis County.
Yeah, could you invite her to maybe do some of your open houses or help you out and maybe get her a little bit of pumped up a little bit and then get her on some of our calls and see
Yeah,
what she
yeah.
thinks.
Yeah, I invited her to, she says she's not a rah-rah person, but I told her our group doesn't really, we don't rah-rah so much as we're here to help each other. And we,
I didn't think I was a rah-rah person either, but I went to Tony Robbins over the weekend, and guess what? I am. So it was definitely an eye-awakening experience, and there's a lot of good nuggets to talk about from that. But we'll do that at some of our other calls. I know Larry's going to be gearing up for that on Friday. He's probably as pumped up as I am from being around 15,000 people that were just like totally nuts and crazy, but in a good way. They want to make change and help other people. So, but good, yeah, keep that conversation going, and the more help flows you can send her way, and go down to her level to only to bring her up to your level. Go down to her grief and her fear and her miserableness, only to slowly start to raise her up to maybe some hope and some change and maybe some light at the end of the tunnel type of situations. You don't want to shock and awe her, but maybe you need to. I don't know. It all depends. You're pretty seasoned to this.
Yeah,
You'll
her grandmother just died and she's, selling her grandmother's house. And so I think that's part of why she was sad, but she just like, I gotta sell this house before I can leave this company. And I was like, if it's really belonging to your family member, wouldn't they just give it to you when you go? I mean, you would
Yeah,
think.
I would. Yeah, it's those are excuses. We gotta hopefully we can get past those for sure. Yeah, I would just have her expire it, just have her relist it. If it's, especially if it's in the family, I certainly would do that. Any other situations come up with you guys? And Sergio, hey Sergio, it's just good to see you today. We're just this is a mastermind, so we just back and flow of conversation and information. Whatever you guys need, whatever you guys want, you can just listen into. So just welcome you to the group today. Um, but yeah, you guys can keep your mics off mute also. You don't have to keep them on mute unless you have some background stuff going on. But anything else? Any other things? Any other good conversations you guys have had over the last couple of weeks, or anything we can help you with as far as moving those conversations into action steps?
We got a call with couple of people this morning in reference to trying to get them to come aboard. They've been in business for a long time. They have their own brokerage and they also have a mortgage company. So I'm talking with them about coming aboard. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, definitely. And again, so, start the conversation with, I always recommend unless a person's just looking to make a change. It's like, I want to change. I want to go somewhere else, or I've been thinking about EXP. Then you can start that conversation, but really play up the group, play up, the engagement that we have. As you can see from, we have 6 people on this call, 7 people, 6 including myself. But we have over 600 people get this email invite every week to come on this call. So not everybody's going to engage, and everybody's going to feel like they need to engage in other areas, or they want to focus more on the production side of things and on the agent attraction side of things. But Russ Lagon, had a webinar about 6 months ago. He talked about the 1% approach to agent attraction. And the 1% approach is that you only put 1% of your time and focus and energy on it. But what you do is every time you have a close, you invite that person to participate in some sort of an activity. Or yesterday, one of the agents said that they have it was Joseph Limo, he has a corporate membership at Topgolf. So every time he has a closing with another agent, he invites that agent to come to Topgolf for an hour and hit some golf balls. And just you could do that with bowling, or take them out to lunch, or whatever you guys think about. Another agent yesterday was telling us about her pie parties that she has around Thanksgiving and Christmas time, where she invites her sphere to come and pick up a pie at her office, but they have to register and they have to actually show up to the office to pick it up. We could do that with agents too. You could have an agent party, or an open house at your house, or a Christmas party, or whatever, just to invite people to engage with you that you've been having conversations with. But yeah, what I would probably do is, let your sponsor know that you're talking to this person, and find out what the next best steps are. I think your sponsor might be Darren. So you probably want to be talking to Larry about next steps of how to talk to this person about where they can what they can benefit from our group, how they can benefit from our group, what are their pain points, if they have any. Maybe they're perfectly fine, maybe they're perfectly happy, maybe they just want to reduce some of their overhead, or maybe some of their administrative tasks, which is something that EXP does a great job of. We have a good admin team, especially with our group, since we have Regina Moore and some other people that help with onboarding and get everybody trained up. That helps a lot. So
Yes,
does that help?
Yes, I reached out to Larry last night. So he said, to just find out what their needs are. And once I do that, then I could bring it to either you or him and take it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Find out find out where you just get in a conversation with them. It's kind of like, be like the Joe Rogan. Just, I just want to have a conversation. How's business? How's life? What's going great? What's going not so great? And if just then you want to close the gap, so you find out where they're at, where they want to be. And if they want to be here, you have to close. There's a gap in between. You have to find out what do we need to do to close that gap. And that's where you get in conversation with them. Do you do open houses? Are you willing to do open houses? How's your marketing? Marketing is the key. I mean, we all have to have really good killer marketing programs, whether we're marketing to asset managers, or marketing to clients, or marketing to other agents. We have to find a way to get our message out to other people on a very regular basis. But the first part of that is knowing what your message is going to be, knowing what having an elevator pitch, knowing, what are you going to say this? If you have 30 minutes to tell somebody something about you, what are you going to say in that minute? You're on the elevator with somebody, you have to tell them something about you. What are you going to say? So you really have to have this memorized and down pat. But also you want to have a two-way flow of energy. So you want to also find out, be pulling, questions from them, what's where are they going? Again, closing that gap. So awesome. Yeah. Once you get that information, circle back with Larry, and we can have a conversation, or invite them to one of the huddles. I forgot about Jeff's huddle this morning. I totally just blew my I just forgot about it. So I wasn't on the call earlier, but invite him to a Jeff Huddle or one of our group meetings on Monday for our group, or Larry's Wealth Building. Tomorrow, what's today? Oh, Thursday, we have the REO mastermind. So ADR is doing a mastermind at 1 o'clock Eastern. Jeff and Kelly are doing their mastermind, I think at 4 or 4:30 Eastern. I don't quote me on the times, but it's in the newsletter. So those are good. Those are good events to be on. And those are good things to bring. Ask people to attend. And even if they're not an REO agent, they'll still get. I mean, we don't just talk about strictly REO. I mean, we might be talking about Fannie or Freddie or different Zone or different things that are outside of real estate. But it always comes back to how do we get more clients? How do we get more? How are we doing with our businesses? And what are we doing to get our businesses to the next level? So. Anything else I can help you guys with today? Any other situations or scenarios that you wanted to go over, or we can role play or drill or do whatever you guys need to do today? Jared, how are you doing?
Pretty good. I got actually a funny story to tell, because this is an attraction call, but I sponsored one agent in the EXP. And I've been mentoring him a bit, but I haven't paid a lot of attention to his production. But it looks like he closed a few deals recently. And I checked my email this morning, and I've got a rev share check on the way to me for almost $1,300. And I've attracted only one agent. That's it. And I thought that was pretty funny. That's my first rev share right there.
Yeah, that agent's been busy. He's done more than a few deals.
Well, I know he's been busy because he's been blowing money up left and right.
Yeah, he's probably done about 1.5 million right now.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, he'll cap, and you'll cap at $2,100 with that agent. So that's why you want to be filling your pipeline with other agents. And once they cap, he won't uncap for another year or so. But that's an awesome story. My first rev share check I think was $300, but now I've been consistently doing about 5,000 a month with rev share. Which is essentially all I do, but I also only spend about 15 hours a week on that side of the business. I run 2 masterminds, this one and the one that was yesterday, and then I try to be on a lot of the other ones to support Larry and Joseph Limo and Robert Wellcart. So I'm on theirs, and then my goal is to have 10 conversations a week with somebody who's not in my organization. So I'll find people through our database, other people I've talked to over 800 people in the last 2 years. So I go through and I follow up with them, and Larry has people that follow up with him that he's been helping me out with. So it's just a matter of taking that 1% approach, and every week, every time you have a close, engage with that person. Every time you have somebody does an open house for you or sits an open house for you, engage with that person. Keep the conversation going. Invite them to our masterminds. Invite them to our calls so that they can see what our culture is like and what we're trying to do. And if it's the right fit, great. If it's not, that's okay too. At least you're helping them in some way. You're giving them one little tidbit of information that maybe they couldn't get anywhere else. So, but yeah, that $1,300 is coming at a good time, right? Right before the holidays.
Well, I didn't even know it was coming. I just checked my email and there it was. So I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, so what you want to do also, this is a if anybody has, I know Helen, you have a few agents, and you also Angela have a few agents in your organization. Keep track of their closes, and the way that you do that, let me close out some of these screens, and I'm going to share my screen, and I'll show you where to go. It's pretty simple, actually. Open this up. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, see if I do this right. I don't do this a lot. Okay, so you can see my screen here is the green screen. Can you guys see it? Okay, so you go down to myexp.com, and it's my.exprealty.com, and then you log in. Now I'm logged in already. So what you're going to want to go to is under earnings. And then you want to go under under unpaid, expected paid, and last paid. But if you go under last paid, I can see all of my agents who've had a close in that time period. So if I go under like Steve in here, and I saw that he closed 3 properties. These are the dates he closed them on 10/31, and he closed this for $185,900. So what I do is I keep an eye on this every day. So if my earnings changes, if this unpaid goes from 2155 to like 2355, I'll know somebody had some activity. Now this only works to agents for agents until they cap. After they cap, you won't see their production. But you can see your overall production if you go under year end. I'm sorry, under organization. And then you can see what your overall production is for the people in your organization. So this is just my organization. Now, when I brag about our production, I'm bragging about Darren and my production. So we take Darren's number, which is about 250 million. Mine's just shy of 100 million, which I'm pretty happy about. 100 million for our agents and just my organization. But Darren and I work as a team, so we take his number. But that's where you find this information. So what I do, and you guys have gotten this from me before, is when you have a close, I send you an email. I said, congratulations on closing, 123 Main Street. Great job. Kill it. You're killing it. You're rocking it. Whatever you want to say it. And sometimes I'll call, but usually I send a text message, but I'm pretty consistent about it. And I keep I'll share my screen one more time, and I actually keep track of this. So let me show you how I keep track of this. And this one, share. So if I go under talking to agents, if I go into production, nope, gotta sign in. No, that wasn't it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, here we go. This is from year to date. So this is January 24 all the way through 11/11, and this is where I keep track of all the agents. So when Michonne had a closing, I marked that I texted to congratulate. So I'm keeping track of all this, and this is my overall production. But this is just on capped agents. So you saw before where my production was 94 million. So I have 30 million of people that have had production they've already capped. So I'm keeping track of 2 numbers. I'm keeping track of the agents that have had activity, and I can look on my myexprealty.com and see what my overall production was. So it's a different number because you're going to cap it around $2.5 million. So I have some agents that have had 10 closings this year already. We have quite a few agents, they're $5-10 million in production this year. So they closed, they capped, and then I didn't see any more revenue share after that, which is totally fine by me because I don't want them to have to, that's why they came to EXP, so they could cap and not be at 100% commission for the rest of the year, which is kind of our way of, making sure that our agents that our productive agents are getting back from the company. And then when you icon, say you capped and you had 20 more transactions after capping and you paid your 250 transaction fee, total only $5,000, EXP is going to gift all that money back to you in the form of stock. So right now I have about $9,000 worth of EXP stock. I haven't bought a share. It's just been gifted to me there's different ways to get stock, but one way is through agents having their first transaction. So all of my frontline agents who have had their first transaction, EXP gifts me $1,000. I think it's $500 worth of stock. So I've had, I don't know how many, but $9,000 worth. So that's vested, meaning I can't touch it for 3 years, but in 3 years, I'll probably have, 20 grand in stock, which is fine by me. I'll either cash it out and buy a car or pay for a trip or just let it roll over and, build that into a bigger stock portfolio. So when I really need the money or want the money, I'll have it available to me. So, but those are different numbers you can look at. I encourage you guys to go into your myexprealty.com every day and check your activity. It's called, I forget what it's called, but you just check to see if you've had any agents that have had any transactions and then reach out to them, congratulate them on those transactions. Helen, you probably know everybody in your group that's having stuff because it's your family, but you also have Vera. And did you have somebody else too, or?
Sandy came and stayed with me
Okay,
like a week or
Sandy-
two ago. She,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, she hasn't made the switch yet, but
Okay.
I
but
think
she might
she's
be coming-
going to.
Yeah, she might be coming on board. Angela, you have a couple other people under you as well. I don't know that the one girl in Ocala is going to be doing much or business wise because she's in the referral brokerage, but I'd reach out to her periodically, just see how things are going and see maybe she wants to quit nursing and maybe do some more real estate or maybe do a couple open houses on the weekends for you or something like that, or help Dalton out or something like that. So those are opportunities too.
I've reached out to her a couple of times as well, but she's not gotten back to me. I wanted to maybe see if we could have coffee or lunch or something.
Yeah,
But,
well, just
she's never responded.
you know how it goes.
Yeah.
It's you just gotta you just gently keep just keep stoking the fire just until she
Mhm.
does engage. And I know she's a nurse working in some sort of a hospital situation, and she wanted to get into real estate to be able to um, close deals with selling
Yeah.
office stuff.
Yeah, selling businesses, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and by the way, my son Dalton's taking the second module of the REO class with Robert today too.
Oh, awesome. Good. Yeah, it was Robert teaching that class again.
Mhm.
Yeah, Robert's phenomenal. He's just a wealth of information. We're so lucky to have him in our group as well. And we have, if you guys need to reach out to him and you need to have a conversation with him, he'll talk to you. He'll spend a half an hour with you, how much time you need if you have questions. And that's something I want to also make sure that you guys know about. And I'm going to also ask you guys a favor. I put together a Google form yesterday to help agents with their 2025 battle plan. And I kind of like to test it out and see if there's any things that's missing with it or anything I need to add or subtract from it. So by show of hands, would you guys mind if I send it to you and just filled it out and just you don't have to do it, but just fill it out and give me your feedback. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'll send that over later today. It didn't take me long to put together because I kind of have a blueprint of what I want to do. I wrote my 2025 marketing plan yesterday. Thanks, Eloise. Unless you have a question. Okay.
No question.
So, yeah, I wrote my 2025 marketing plan yesterday. And honestly, it didn't take me that long. It only took me about an hour. And I incorporated a lot of things that I wanted to incorporate into it with training too, because I want to, I went to Tony Robbins this past weekend, and I don't want this to be a one and done. I want it to be, I went there, I learned a ton of information. I mean, here's the book they gave us. I mean, it's like over 100 pages, 106 pages of material, and I took lots of notes, and we went through lots of different processes, and I want to basically incorporate this into a weekly self-help training for myself. So my point is, I incorporated that into my marketing plan. I just didn't write a marketing plan where I'm going to reach out to this many agents. I'm going to call these people. I'm going to do these trainings. I'm going to run these masterminds. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I incorporated things that are personal enhancement for myself as well. What I left off the marketing plan was my personal goals, but the more I'm thinking about it, I might add those in. But the main thing with the marketing plan that we started with is where I'm at now, where do I want to be? So, and that's your statistics. So, my I showed you before, I'm at 94 million for 2024. That'll probably go over 100 million by the end of this year. So I'll adjust my targets. But next year, I already know that I want to do 200 million in personal, group production. For Darren's group, our whole group, we're probably going to bump that up to like 400 million because I think we can do it. We did 250. I think we can increase that by 150, but we'll see. Him and I will talk about that. But I'm just talking about my own personal marketing plan. Now, you might have a group, maybe like Helen, for instance, you and Paul and Lindsay work together on a business plan for the three of you as you're working as a team. So maybe it's a team plan, but then you also want to have your own personal plans. So incorporate it all together. So what I wrote in the Google Doc was just a personal. It's not a group or a team, but I think it could be easily adapted to that. And then agents that want to consult with Larry and myself, we'll do that with you guys. You know, we'll work out the nuts and bolts of what the marketing plan, maybe things that are missing or things we think that you, maybe you think, oh, I'm terrible at cold calling, but we've seen something in you that you're a pretty good cold caller. You know what you're talking about. You have a lot of certainty. So maybe incorporate that in your plan, even if you're not comfortable doing it, because a lot of times doing the things that you're not comfortable doing are also things that other people are not comfortable doing. And you can get a leg up on those people. I mean, if you're not comfortable cold calling, and nobody, honestly, very few people are, but that means very few people do it. But maybe it's going out and talking to attorneys, you know, and setting up appointments with attorneys, probate attorneys, different people that can be flowing business your way, or, you know, going to a conference like NADP and having a plan when you get there to meet with every asset manager that's there at that meeting. So you have to do some pre-planning. You have to know who's going to be there. But when you get there, you already have a schedule of who you're going to be talking to. When I go to 5-star, when I go to Velocity, I have at least a half a dozen, I at least have a dozen to 20 appointments scheduled that I'm going to have while I'm there. And then I'll have more, but at least I know I'm going to have 12, maybe 20, because I don't want to get there and just wing it. I want to go there with a plan of action where I'm going to talk to so many people and know how many people I'm talking to. So it kind of got off topic a little bit. So I have just a couple minutes left. Anything else you guys want to focus on today or talk about today? Because I can run over the 11:30 mark if you need me to. Okay, well, I'll give you back a couple minutes. So I'm gonna, if it's okay with you, I'm gonna go ahead and send that Google Doc over to you. Let me take a quick screenshot so I know who was on the call. And I'll send that over in the next 10 to 15 minutes and just fill it out. It takes probably 5 minutes to fill out. It's very, very short. It doesn't go into a lot of detail. What we would go into detail with is putting the actual plan together. This is more or less just a spread, what do you call it? Like, it's a worksheet, you know, there's a better term, but it's basically, you just A to Z, just fill this out, put your targets in where you want to be, where you're at now, some of the things you're willing to do. And then, you know, if you want to, this is not mandatory. You don't have to, could never make it mandatory even if I wanted to, but if you wanted to, you know, put time on my calendar or Larry's calendar and we'll spend an hour with you, however much time it takes to work out the fine details. So good luck this week. Prospecting, talking to agents, try to talk to at least 5 people this week that you don't know about our group and get them to some of our masterminds. And hopefully we'll see you guys on some of the other calls later this week. So have a good day, guys. We'll see you.